Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is Aaron Trevino, and we have a terrific guest here. We have Holly Paris from Priority Settlement Group here in Austin, Texas. What's going on, Holly?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on. I know we kind of been communicating back and forth, so it's nice to get you on the show.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So, for those of us who don't know, what do you do? Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yes. So currently I'm a market manager for Priority Settlement Group. It is a title company. So I do a lot of real estate stuff. I look out for realtors and lenders and take care of my clients and make sure that they're happy, make sure that their clients are also happy. And I make sure everything's kind of going smoothly. And that's pretty much what I do. I also take my clients to lunches and coffee and dinner if they want to go. And I love to basically build great relationships with the people that I work with. I work with a lot of different realtors all over the state of Texas, a lot of different lenders all over the state of Texas. I can also work with people outside of Texas if for example, lenders close things outside of the state, I can work with them as well. So
Awesome. You had me sold at lunch, coffee, and dinner. That sounds great.
I definitely take care of my clients.
Okay, absolutely. No, I know we were talking before. I was pretty excited, that you wanted to come on the show, because you are the first guest to talk about title, and I want to hear all about it.
Sounds good to me.
Absolutely. So for those, maybe someone's watching, they're not familiar with what title is in a real estate context. Could you kind of break down what title is and why it's important?
Absolutely. So when you are closing on a home, or if you're a realtor and you're helping your client close on a home, or if you're a lender and you're doing a refinance, there is a title company that basically helps you through the process of getting title insurance and closing your loan or your home. And we help with the escrow process, and it's just something that is very necessary. And we make sure that there are like no liens on the property, and if there are, that we get them taken care of and we notify you. We also go through the whole process of closing with you, and we do free mobile closings, so we're able to meet our clients and their clients at their home, their business, the pool, wherever you want to close at. We're willing to go there, and it's free, which is even better. A lot of our employees do work from home, so it's nice to be able to have that flexibility. And if I need to go, I'm in the process of actually being able to sign my own uh, clients and that kind of stuff. So being able to have the flexibility to go meet my clients, go to real estate offices and those kind of things is really nice, and be able to explain how great we are, because we do have the best pricing around of any title company. We can definitely get you taken care of. We have a lot of employees, and I personally am a realtor myself. So I use Priority Settlement Group for my closings, if at all possible. A lot of times, people have their own title companies that they use, but I specifically have used Priority myself, and they were able to close a loan that absolutely was impossible to close. So I have great experience of my own using my company. And then we don't have escrow fees on refinances, which is unheard of. So that's another thing that's really great about our company specifically. And our turnaround time is really, really good right now. It's 1 to 3 days. So what that means is for us to, if it's an easier house or file that we're working on and there are no liens or anything crazy, we can pretty much get it back to our realtors and lenders pretty quickly. So that's a good thing. And we also, like, my other favorite thing is that we build relationships. So it's not like, oh, well, we're just out to work and sell and take care of people. No, it's the whole package. You know, we absolutely build relationships with our realtors and lenders and their clients because we want to make sure everyone's happy. That's the biggest thing. That's the key. And everyone that I work with is fantastic. And the reason I want to work for this company, and I have been working for this company, is because of their reputation and because it's a great, you know, company in general to work for. But I've had my own experience with Priority, and I wouldn't want to work for any other title company.
Well said. You have me sold. Have you
All right.
really closed deals by the pool? I need to ask you that.
Hey, I haven't yet, but we are definitely willing to do that.
Okay. No, I like that. That's neat. That's
As
neat.
long as everyone has a pen and, you know, they're able to read everything, we're good. We can do it by the pool or, you know, wherever.
Okay. I like it. I like it. So if you could just rewind a bit, one word you mentioned once or twice was escrow. Could you kind of explain what escrow is and how it ties into, you know, the title process?
Definitely. So it's basically like a fund that the money goes into. And then when you get a mortgage, so we work really, really well with lenders and with the GFE and everything like that. And it's basically, you know, a part of, you know, your mortgage and closing and everything. So we make sure that we get all the numbers, or the numbers are right. And, you know, we double check everything.
Okay, very good. And then you also mentioned making sure there were no liens. Could you also explain maybe what a lien is?
Absolutely. So sometimes in the unfortunate cases, maybe a bank would put a lien, or there would be a tax lien, meaning something put on the home, on the title of the home. So if something went wrong, you didn't pay your taxes, or, you know, there was some sort of a loan you didn't pay, then it would go onto your title. And so that would need to be taken care of before the title's transferred to the new owner.
Okay, very good. It seems like you know, that's a definitely important part when it comes to title.
Yes. So it's important that when our realtors do, you know, decide to go with us and they get a new listing, to open title with us immediately, meaning we can go check all the liens, we can check, you know, the title, make sure it's clear and make sure there's everything is good. So that is very important, so that we have time to get everything back when the home does sell.
Okay. Could you also explain what I guess what the words opening title would be?
Yeah, so it's the process of giving the title company the information, basic info, like the sales price, the sellers, the address, and the county. And so what we do is we look everything up to make sure that the title is clear. And well, I don't personally, but our escrow officers do. And we, you know, just say, okay, we're good. So whenever the home sells, you know, we can satisfy, you know, let you know that you need to satisfy these liens, or everything's clear, which in most cases everything is clear. Not to scare anybody, but in most cases everything's clear, so it's not a problem. And we, you know, get it taken care of, and as smoothly as possible. That's the key: smoothly, and make sure that everything's taken care of.
Absolutely. And you also before you also kind of mentioned title insurance. Could you kind of explain, you know, why someone would need title insurance and what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you close on your home, you want to make sure that that title is valid, right? And it's sufficient. So you want to make sure that it's backed by insurance, to make sure, just, you know, for example, like, you know, insurance on your home if something happens, or, you know, so if something does pop up on the title later on, you had insurance to cover that.
Okay, absolutely. So I know you kind of mentioned how you know, you work hand in hand with realtors, given that you are a realtor, you work with lenders as well. In terms of kind of your workflow, what would you be doing on a daily basis?
That's a great question. And I love that question because I love my career. I absolutely love it. And so every day I get up, I check my pipeline, I post on social media. I do a lot of work on social media, Instagram and Facebook. I have my own little Facebook page and Instagram page, and it's fun. And I also reach out to realtors and lenders a lot of times through Facebook or Instagram or email or phone call or text. And so I basically um, sell my title company
Yeah.
and sell our service, which is easy to do because we're an amazing company. We have a great reputation and we do take care of our clients. So
Absolutely. I think it's interesting that a lot of people are tending to, really be doubling down on their social media, or maybe they're just transitioning to using social media right now, or maybe some people have been using social media for years, and, you know, it's the same now as it was before for them.
in my case, yeah, I mean, I've been using it for years, and especially with real estate, you need to be really well versed in social media these days. And it's a great way to get leads and everything that way. So
Sure, sure, absolutely. So, I guess kind of on the darker side of title, what do you think would be maybe some common issues that people could run into, and then how would they fix those issues to make sure everything goes smoothly?
there could be like encroachment on the property or things like that. So basically, when the survey, we got the survey, things were different actually than the survey, or that's one of the bigger things. Again, lien. Oh my gosh, I don't have $53,000 and I won't have it at closing. So you wouldn't be able to sell your home if you can't satisfy that, right? Those are
Sure.
definitely the most common things.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's why, that's why title's so important.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. So aside from that, I know you kind of ran through a bit, what you do on a daily basis. Um, could you kind of maybe chat a little bit about, you mentioned you're also a realtor. How do you think, you being a realtor kind of plays into what you do at the title company?
It does because I do have the real estate background. I've used title for, 60 years in real estate. And so it's funny because I did start out in 2006 and 2007 as a lender. So I was a branch manager in training for beneficial finance. And so before the big crash, I did have that background. And then in 2015, I decided to go into real estate. And so I went to school and did all that. And then just to kind of give you a little bit of background so it makes sense. And then now title. So I've kind of done, the whole gamut of real estate. But as far as real estate, it helps because I already have those relationships built with realtors and lenders. And so, I can also put myself in realtors' shoes and lenders' shoes and say, like, I've been there. Like, it's been a situation that I've been through, and the industry is not easy. Even though business is really great right now for real estate, it's not the easiest profession. And people just, think it is. And so there are times where I need to use my psychology degree and, be counselor, or which I absolutely love doing, or, I need to put different hats on at all times. And sometimes I do have to talk to realtors and say, like, it's okay, like giving them advice maybe on how to calm their clients down, and different things, like in general, not necessarily with title, but in general, I love to be a good example.
Absolutely. That's pretty neat how your little transition that you had from, 2006 being, being a lender to, kind of playing your realty card, right?
Absolutely.
Um, so it kind of seems like there's a lot of similarities in that. That must be pretty neat to have a transition like that.
Yeah, it was really cool. I really enjoyed, in the lender side, I really enjoyed that. And real estate, I've enjoyed. I love helping people. So, if I can have a career where I help people, it satisfies me, And then in title, I can also help people as well, and it makes me feel good.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just curious. Even before lending, were you, yeah, coming out of school, were you always doing lending, or how did you kind of even step into lending, real estate, title, etc.?
I've technically worked for a bank for several years, so I did collections on Victoria's Secret credit cards and different credit cards there. And then I did that for years. I was one of the top collectors. And then I also did collections on BMW Financial. So I worked for that finance company, and did really well in the mid-range group. And so I was very successful there. And then from there, I went to lending, and it was just kind of like a smooth transition, but I, was branch manager, had some more responsibilities there, but it was good. And I also did training. So I trained for Alliance Data, which is technically it's World Financial Network National Bank at the time. And so I trained all the new hires that came in and taught them all the secrets to collections. So that was fun. But yeah, so I've pretty much been in banking, customer service, sales for, I guess it would be 20 years now.
Wow, how about that?
Oh, I feel old. I think I'm getting a wrinkle.
That's funny.
Not really.
No, no, that seems great. It kind of seems like everything for you kind of melded together. From the customer service, the collections, the finance, the math, the banking, the everything, right?
It's all been fun. It's all been a journey, and it brought me to where I am today. Super happy and enjoying what I do every day. I can't wait to get up and help anyone any way I can and get my new clients. And I just want to see smile on people's faces.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially right now when some people aren't smiling too much.
No, I mean, lending can be a little bit challenging right now with people losing their jobs, but refinances are up right now and the interest rates are super low and everyone's trying to get in on it. And, it's really cool. It's a seller's market. So, people are definitely getting multiple offers on their homes and getting above asking. Not everyone, some people. And it's kind of a crazy market. I've actually never really seen anything like this before. And no one's ever seen this crazy pandemic either, but it's crazy because interest rates are low and then people are, buying like crazy, and it's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Could you kind of explain? I know you mentioned how interest rates are low. Can you kind of elaborate on what low interest rates means for people who are buying homes or currently have homes?
So low interest rate makes your monthly payment lower. And so typically people get a 30-year mortgage. Some people choose to do like a 15-year, but a 30-year mortgage is most typical. And so if you have a lower interest rate, then, you're not paying as much through the whole 30 years. So low interest rate means a big difference in your payment.
Absolutely. And then the refinancing, would that kind of explain why people are refinancing or?
Absolutely. Yeah. The interest rates drive the refinances, and yeah, it's pretty wild out there. I
Yeah.
talk to lenders every day and they're like, I'm buried, but it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. That means our economy is still going, right? And it means that people are getting amazing rates and people are still refinancing and staying in their home, or they're buying a new home. It's just a fantastic time. Now, Austin, the market is so hot right now that, home prices are just soaring, and so people are getting out of their homes and moving to a new one and making some good money. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm just kind of curious as well. You kind of mentioned how, you got your start a few years ago, and we kind of ran through what you were, the different industries you had an experience in. What would you say the difference is between the previous recession in '07, '08 compared to what we're seeing now?
that's an interesting question. Gosh, that was so long ago. I feel like,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, companies were going under. Companies aren't necessarily, like, financial companies aren't going under like they were then, right? So my company unfortunately went under, and people were taking advantage. They were they were giving people way too high of interest rates that they couldn't afford. And so people were foreclosing on their homes. Now, typically we see foreclosures in people who are losing their jobs, unfortunately, due to the pandemic or due to, one thing or another, but not because of the other reasons back then.
Sure, sure. I mean, frankly, this is kind of my first time ever seeing a recession, like this. But I mean, really, even the baby boomers, even the more experienced people, they haven't seen, no one's seen anything like this before.
No, and that's why like we're all kind of in the dark, and every day is something different, and looking up the interest rates. And it's funny because back in the day, people were getting like 13% interest rates on their homes, on their refis, and people with, not good credit, right? And it's just like, wow, compared to like 2 and 3% now, it's absolutely insane. And so, if you have great credit and you can refinance, do it now. Seriously. It'll save you money.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just a smart thing to do because you're not paying as much through the whole loan, whole time that you own that home.
Absolutely. So, I guess the advice would be for someone who has decent to good credit, refinance. What would what would you suggest for someone who doesn't have a home right now? Maybe someone's renting, maybe they have a smaller home, they're looking for a larger one. What would it mean for someone like that?
So the home thing, getting a smaller home to a larger home, just remember that it's a seller's market, right? So you may come out really great on the selling end, but on your buying end, you may be paying over asking. You may be in a bid war depending on what price range, you're looking for. Now, if it's a higher priced home, 500K or more, there typically, is not going to be a bidding war. There may be, if the home is a little underpriced or is super amazing, there may be one, but it just really depends on the price range. And then if someone is living in an apartment now and they're renting and they want to buy a home, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Because like you're going to be paying more as a buyer, but your interest rate's lower. So it's really a gamble. I mean, rent prices are high, but at the same time, it's just kind of an uneasy time for a lot of people to buy because we don't know what's going to happen with the election, or we don't know when the pandemic's going to end. So it's kind of like, well, it's like the stock market, right? So you're putting your money in, you're taking a chance, and you're just hoping that you're going to make money later, depending on when you sell your home. You just have to be very strategic about it. So I would say seek the advice of a financial planner, or, talk to a realtor, talk to a lender, talk to me. I'll tell you realistically how the market is. I'm not going to say, oh, you should buy or you shouldn't buy. I'm just going to give you the facts.
Sure, absolutely. And at the end of the day, it's about, people just being able to inform people and, them being educated and, them just being able to make their own decision on it.
Absolutely. And I do want to say one thing. People think, like, oh, I'm going to go buy a brand new home. I don't need a realtor, right? Because there are people there that help me. There are sales counselors that can help me there. Well, I will say that it is very smart to get a realtor because you are not paying the realtor to buy a brand new home or buy a used home. You're not paying a realtor anything. Okay. The seller or the builder pays the realtor. The realtor is there to help you. The realtor has moral guidelines. The realtor, is not going to lie to you. The realtor is going to take care of you and make sure that everything is going smoothly. They're going to take pictures of the new build for you if you can't go out there. There's a lot of value in having a realtor, and the buyer doesn't have to pay one penny to the realtor. So a lot of people don't realize, now on the selling side, yes, there's a percentage of the house sale that goes to the realtor, depending, on the realtor and everything. But on the buy side, it is so important to have a realtor, even if you're buying like um, a home that's listed by the owner. You just always want to have that one person there that's going to look out for you. And that's what a realtor does. We look out for you. We're your counselor. We take care of you. So a lot of people just have the misconception that, oh, well, if I go buy a new home, someone's there to help me. Yes, they are there to help you. However, having that other person on your side could save you a lot of money.
Yep, it definitely seems like, especially with new construction, because at least a realtor that's kind of accustomed to working with new construction, there's a bit of nuance, there's a bit of specific information that, you kind of want someone to help you out with that.
I started out with new builds back in 2015, and my very first contract was a new build. And so I studied the process of building a home and everything that goes into it, making sure, the studs are built right, and whole process, I would go and check on the process, let's just say plumbing stage, and I'd take a picture of it, send it to my clients if they're out of state, or I would meet my clients there and say, okay, we're at the plumbing stage, and just kind of tell them, hey, this is the process. And then we go for our final walkthrough when the home is done. It's very important that you do that. Don't ever, as a consumer, not go to your final walkthrough. It's so important to make sure everything is done the way that it's supposed to be done. Take your realtor with you. I like to treat my clients, take them to dinner, or, get them a nice gift card or a gift for using my services. My services are free to buyers. And so I love to be a part of someone's dream, right? Home ownership is absolutely the American dream. And I want to be a part of it. I want to see their family grow through the years and be happy in their house. Like, most of my clients are on Facebook, and I can see how happy they are in their homes. And it just gives me joy every day to see this. And it's like, I was a part of that. So it's one of the most rewarding careers. It's difficult, but it is one of the most rewarding careers, I would definitely say. And title does the same thing. I was able to close on my home, and Holly, you made sure the process went smoothly. And so it's just, it's amazing. And it's great to love what you do, because then it shines in your work and it shines in your relationships with your clients and just in general in life.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot to be said for that, to, not only be helping other people, but, kind of enjoying the process along the way. And, with you enjoying what you do, it kind of helps everyone else around you as well.
Absolutely. And, people can tell if you're miserable in what you do, and the difference between sometimes a good realtor and a realtor that's not as good is maybe their attitude, and being able to talk your clients through things. And, oh man, this has been the hardest closing. I had a deal where it was crazy, like people kept dying during the process. It was so sad and so emotional, and so tough to get that house closed. It was a 6-month process, and we couldn't find a title company that would close it and that would give it title insurance, because it was so risky, because people kept passing away. Dogs were passing away. They were burying dogs in the yard. Like, it was crazy, and it was so insane. And Priority Title was able to close it. So we were so thankful. But that's the first experience that I'd had with Priority, and I was like, man, this is a great company to work for. So
Wow, that's a heck of a story. You don't exactly hear that every day.
no, and I was literally, and I knew my good buddy Michael Schwartz, he's the VP. I knew he had started a title company, and him and Marcus Overview, which is the president, they had started this here in Texas, and I had known Michael for ever since I started real estate. And so I called him up. I'm like, hey, can you help me out with this deal? And he, I said, I called this title company, this title company, this title company, and then I remembered you had started this, you came from Capital Title. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, 8 underwriters. Okay, can one of them do this? Because we need to get this closed. Everyone's getting impatient and emotional, and it's a tough situation. And he's like, all right, see what I can do. And man, we got that thing closed within, I think it was like within a week and a half, 2 weeks, with all the difficulty we've gone through, and everything worked out. And so it was pretty amazing.
Wow, that's interesting. What do you think? I mean, aside from the work ethic of the great people that work there, what do you think is the difference between a title company who may say, no, we're not going to handle that versus you guys who went in and you got it done?
I think it has a lot to do with the escrow officers as well, and how their knowledge, they knew the underwriters, everybody just knew what they needed to do to get this file closed. And it made my clients so happy. And it was great. The other title companies, I think, just weren't able to get it done because it was kind of a risky situation. But we were able to do it, and our underwriters said that's fine. So
Wow. Say no more. That's awesome. From the type of deals you're able to do, even a lot of the hard ones that other companies can't.
absolutely, it was pretty great. And so then from that point on, I started using Priority, and even now for my deals, I use Priority, and it's just such a smooth process. So, and I have used other title companies in the past, which I'm not saying were bad. Absolutely not. They were great. It's just, when I realized Priority could close some of these difficult things, I'm not going to go anywhere else.
Absolutely. Well said. In terms of the process, I know you kind of touched on it a bit earlier, but could you kind of highlight, how long the process would be with a title company from day one until whenever?
So it really just depends. If it's a realtor opening up title and they just got a listing, it really depends on when the home sells. But the process, we work with the lenders, right? And so if it's a realtor and a lender deal, then we work with the lender in order to make sure all the numbers are right, everything is set for closing, and we've gone through the title. So it can be a process. It could be like a 2-day process to like a, 60-day process. It really just depends. Each file is different. However, it's a refinance, it's typically like 1 to 3 days. Or if it's an easy purchase on the buy end, it's usually 2, 3 days. It's pretty easy.
Okay, fair enough. So in terms of title, I mean, I'm assuming that you're kind of, are you going back with the county, or how are you tracing, who the previous owners were?
So I don't do all that part. That's what the escrow officers do. And so they, look at the title and see what's on there. If there's anything, typically it's good to go. But yeah, they check with the county and, all that kind of stuff. I'm not really sure fully what they do, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course. You need to make sure that everything is good to go, and that there's no issues in the future, and that everything's clean.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Also, I guess, kind of rewinding back to when you mentioned how you started out, kind of learning about new construction. When you started out, you said in 2015, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious as well. Could you kind of maybe walk through maybe the different, you talked about different stages of home building. Could you kind of different walk through the different stages, from zero until completion?
So when building a new home, it basically, you're gonna you're gonna go, let's just say I have a client. We're gonna go to a couple communities, couple builders. You have to decide what community you want to be in, what part of town, and then what builder you want, because several communities have several builders. Or sometimes like DR Horton or Lennar Homes have their own actual neighborhood. So it depends on what kind of amenities they want. So then we'll go and we'll talk with the sales counselor, and they'll pick out what they want. They'll sign the contract, and then they'll say, okay, here's your estimated completion date. Can't always go by that because things happen, weather, loan issues. There are different factors that definitely can change that. And then there will be a date where they'll say, okay, we're going to break ground on this day. So that day is very exciting. Okay, they're starting my home today, and it should be estimated done in 6 to 9 months, depending on things. And then I'll just be in contact through the process. And then after that, They'll get ready to pour the slab, and that's exciting because then you can see the footprint of your home. And then the plumbing goes in, and that's exciting because you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna have bathrooms. I'm gonna have, I'm gonna have everything I need there. I'm gonna have a kitchen. And then after that, then they start framing. And that's really exciting, right? Because then you can kind of go through the rooms and kind of see where things are. And always remember too, if the home is 1 story, the footprint's going to be larger. If your home's a 2 story, right, it's not going to be as big. But people sometimes are like, oh, my home's going to be small. But remember, there's a 2nd floor, so this isn't your entire home. So then the framing and the drywall and the roofing and all these exciting things. And after that, then they work on the inside of the home. Well, actually, they'll do it outside. They'll do like the hardy plank or the brick or whatever you choose. And then they'll do the inside of the home. They'll put the cabinets in, the flooring, they'll paint, and then you'll go through your final walkthrough to make sure that actually we'll go in there a couple times. We're going to go in there through each stage, but we're also going to go in before the final walkthrough to say, okay, let's put some blue tape around here because there are some things that need done. I don't like the paint here, or, nothing ridiculous, but make sure that everything did turn out right. And then we're going to go back and go through the final walkthrough. And if there are some blue tape spots left, then we're going to make sure that that's completed before we close on the home. Or if not, then we need something signed from the builder to say, okay, well, it'll be done by this day, if it's something major, typically. And then we'll close. We'll go through our title company and we'll close, and you'll get to have the keys and move into your home. So there's closing, and then there's also funding, right? So your home will close on a specific day. Typically, funding happens on that same day, meaning the loan funds, and you'll get your keys usually at funding. Sometimes, there'll be issues maybe through the lender or the bank or something, and then we'll have to fund the next day, which is fine. But just keep in mind, there may be a little slow there, but typically, yeah, everything happens in the same day within a few hours. So.
Okay, very good. You also mentioned, I know you mentioned funding was, where people, where, the loan basically goes through, the money's there, right? How would you
Yeah.
explain what closing is?
So we do mobile closing. So, we'll come to you and it'll be stack of paperwork that you'll have to get ready to sign for. Bring a pen for you and a pen for us because, whoever closes the loan needs to sign as well. And so you'll need your ID. You'll need typically, I think, just an ID, maybe another government form as well. And we'll close the loan, and you'll be able to get your keys very soon.
Okay, very good, very good. Yeah, great explanation on closing.
Yeah.
I'm also just curious. I know you kind of mentioned how you kind of were educating yourself about the new construction process. Was that mostly through books or the internet, or how did you go about that?
A lot of it was the internet, and because when you go through real estate school, they don't really go through all that because there's so much material that you need to learn, so they don't really inform you much about the process. So it's something that I researched on my own via YouTube videos, and my brokerage had classes on it. Hey, this is the new build process, and it was really interesting to me. And so I was like, wow, I want to be a new home expert. And so I did that. I did a lot of new home tours. So I still am very familiar with the new communities. And, hey, if you say you want this amenity, well, and you want this area, let me match you up with a few neighborhoods, and then you can pick from there. If you want a certain school, it's definitely a fun process to decide where you want to be. I'm going to be buying a new home in the next probably year. And so I have to decide where I want to be, and, what schools for my kids and everything like that. So it's definitely a long, fun thought process.
Absolutely. It kind of seems like what you just explained is kind of the name of the game. You have that education, but you're learning on the go every day.
you have to constantly learn. We have to do continuing education classes every 2 years. We have to have a certain number, a certain amount of, classes that we took. We have to do ethics and legal and a lot of different things. So we have to keep up on everything. Like, for example, during COVID, we have a special COVID disclosure that the brokerage has that we have to have our clients sign before we show homes. And so we have to keep up with this stuff. And it's extremely important as a realtor to continue to learn, even if you don't need those CE credits, continuing education credits. It's important to still go to those classes when they're in session, or take them online. Yes, they're going to cost money typically, but it's so important to make sure that your clients are taken care of.
Yep, absolutely. And that kind of speaks for you as a realtor, given that, you have that initiative to, you even said it yourself, how you wanted to be the expert about new home builds and you went out and did it. So I think that's terrific.
Absolutely. And, if they're like, well, I want a builder that does this or that, I'm like, okay, well, I can match you. It's almost like a matchmaking game. And my slogan is your personal home matchmaker, right? Because I go out there and I basically pick your match,
Yeah.
and match with a home and a community and an area that makes sense for you. And we get you signed up on email alerts so you can get the new listings that pop up. And it's just very important that we're informed about the new communities, because not everyone wants to buy a resale home. Not everyone wants to buy a brand new home, right? So, hey, you're buying a resale. Well, it's important that, we go around and look to make sure the foundation looks good even before the inspection, right? Because you don't even want to make an offer on a home if the foundation has, cracks or looks kind of funky. If we see termites, just happen to see them, touring the home, or if the roof looks funky, well, we may want to put that in the contract when we send it over. So, things like that. You want a realtor that will look out for you.
Absolutely. Well said. Well, Holly, is there anything that you haven't said that you'd really just like to hit home?
No, I'm very happy that you had me on here. Thank you. And I'm just excited for the future of title and real estate, and hope these rates stay low. So continue to save people money.
Absolutely. Yeah, you did a wonderful job of kind of breaking down, title, new construction, being a realtor, lending, and, hearing all about your experience. So I thought that was terrific.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Sure, absolutely. So, maybe someone's watching, they want to chat with you, they want to get a hold of you. How can we get in contact with you?
So my email is holly, HOLLY .paris, PARIS at prioritytitleus.com. My phone number is 512-713-7112. You can reach out to me on Facebook, on any of my pages. I have a real estate page, a marketing manager page for Priority Title, or my personal page. I can certainly help you as well.
Okay, very good. And I'd be happy to link in the description, so everything's there. But Holly, again, it's been great. I really appreciate you coming on. And until the next time.
Yes, thank you so much. I had a great time.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.